As promised, we are going to start with out of order with SEB2023-025, Fulton County Tabulator Results 2020 General Election. Do we have a respondent here for that case? Thank you. Would the investigator please?
Okay, the Georgia Secretary of State opened this investigation after the State Election Board referred this complaint filed by complainants Kevin Moncla and Joseph Rossi, alleging Fulton County did not properly perform a recount of the presidential contest in the 2020 general election, quote unquote, called the recount. In this complaint, dated July 8th, 2022, the complainants allege, number one, they identified irregularities in the recount, namely 17,852 votes of unknown provenance. Complainants allege that collectively, there appeared to be no paper documentation of ballots for nearly 42,000 votes, a potential violation of recount procedures in OCGA 21-2-495 and SCB Rule 183-1-15-.03 sub 1. So, as a result of background information, in the 2020 general election, the original certified results from Fulton County included 528,777 total ballots cast. There was a reported total of 524,659 votes cast in the contest for President of the United States, including 137,240 or 26.16% votes for then incumbent President Donald Trump, and 381,144 or 72.65% votes for Joseph Biden, and 6,275 or 1.2% of votes for Joe Jorgensen. Following a recount of the presidential contest requested by then President Donald Trump, Fulton County recertified the results on December 7th, 2020. The recertified results reported 527,925 total ballots cast, a difference of 0.16%, and 523,779 total votes cast in the presidential contest, a difference of 0.16%, including 137,247 votes for then incumbent President Donald Trump, a net gain of 7 votes, 380,212 or 72.59% votes for Joseph Biden, a net loss of 932 votes, and 6,320 votes for Joe Jorgensen for a net gain of 45 votes. In preparation for the 2020 general election and pursuant to an October 2020 consent order, the State Election Board contracted with Seven Hills Strategies to serve as an independent monitor for the 2020 general election. One of Seven Hills Strategies' responsibilities was to observe tabulation on election day and any post-election audit or recount. On January 12, 2021, following the general election and subsequent runoff elections, Seven Hills Strategies prepared and submitted a post-election executive summary, which is exhibit number 3 in the investigation. The summary indicated the monitor observed every aspect of the respondents' election processes and at no time was dishonesty, fraud, intentional malfeasance observed. Under the topical heading, quote, the recount, the executive summary noted several issues that included poor record keeping, which led to other procedural problems for Fulton County throughout the recount process. Namely, Fulton County failed to properly follow protocols for backing up and uploading data to servers, resulting in errors, and Fulton County inadvertently named 2 scanners with the same name, causing delays in the completion of the recount. In August 2021, pursuant to a request from members of the Georgia General Assembly, the SEB appointed a performance review board to examine issues with Fulton County's election process. On January 13, 2022, The PRB issued a report of its findings, which is exhibit number 4. Both Seven Hill Strategies and the PRB provided their findings to the SEB in 2021 and 2022 respectively for review. The SEB voted not to pursue further legal actions against the respondent. In July 2022, complainants Joseph Rossi and Kevin Moncla filed a complaint with the State Election Board alleging several anomalies that I discussed in the introduction. SOS investigators interviewed Director Williams regarding the BLRs and the uploads to the RTR for the recount. She reported that certain batches of the ballots were initially scanned with an ICC or ImageCast Central scanner programmed with the same tabulator and batch number, so the RTR interpreted them as one and rejected scanned ballots as a duplicate batch. Respondents looked into the cause of the discrepancy and eventually isolated the discrepancy to the duplicative programming of the ICC scanner. This issue was corrected by separating all 97 batches scanned on the duplicate ICC and rescanning them for accurate reporting on the RTR. Prior to rescanning, Fulton County made sure representatives from each political party, the SEB's independent monitor, and others were aware of the discrepancy, what caused the discrepancy, and were present to witness the rescan. Respondents confirmed at that point they had a total of 506, 127 scanned ballots. After they rescanned the initial rejected batches of ballots, totaling 21,798 votes from the tabulator 816, Exhibit 10, the final total ballot scanned was 527,925. Respondents acknowledged BLRs were referenced during the status update discussion about the discrepancy, but only used them as a reference in trying to determine what went wrong and how far off they were in the count. There is no record of the respondents submitting official results to the Secretary of State's office on December 2nd, 2020. Complainants have further alleged that the respondent failed to provide all ballot images from the recount in response to an open records request. In response to an investigative subpoena, respondents provided to the SOS Investigation Division a thumb drive that contained 518,906 ballot images from the December 2020 recount, which is exhibit number 11. Respondent reported during the recount, Dominion Voting Systems loaned Fulton County 4 scanners for the recount. The respondent was unsure exactly which counties Dominion had borrowed the scanners from, and those scanners have since been returned. The SOS Investigation Division asked respondent to provide documentation to corroborate this account. The respondent further noted that the memory cards that were used in the borrowed scanners have since been redistributed and used in subsequent elections. As noted in the SEB Monitor's January 2021 executive summary, Fulton County acknowledged that technical issues during the recount that include failure to properly follow protocols for backing up data to servers. As a result, while respondent may not have all the ballot images, they do have all the physical ballots, which are still being preserved under seal due to a pending litigation hold. Complainants allege that ballot images should have been available, claiming in a separate email to SOS investigators that all ballots of an entire batch must be scanned successfully for it to be accepted and processed. Exhibit number 12. The system would only accept ballots in a batch, and this is from the complainants. The system would only accept ballots in a batch and not just single ballots. There is no way in which an election worker could choose to save or not save ballot images, as the only prompt they're given is to either accept or reject the batch by selecting yes or no. If the worker selects yes, then the entire batch, including the ballot images for every ballot in the batch, is processed as one unit. If the worker selects no, then the worker must start over and scan the entire batch. This assertion is partially correct, as this only applies to counties whose central scanners and servers are housed at the same location. With Fulton County, their central scanners and EMS results tally and reporting workstation during that time was housed at different locations, and therefore the respondents had to follow a different process to import election results. This process required county workers to first download the results onto a form of removable media. They then had to upload the results from the media into the RTR workstation at the second location. During the upload process, the RTR provides the users 3 options which to choose. The user can select the box for load results file, load ballot images, load log file, or choose all 3. If the load result file is the only option selected, which was a required option, then no ballot images would be uploaded into the RTR. Furthermore, the preservation of ballot images was not required in 2020. It was not until the passage of Senate Bill 202 in 2021 that ballot images were deemed public records subject to public inspection under the Georgia Open Records Act.